The lifeless hallways where you felt like you ran at light speed, buying way too expensive popcorn that was in the machine for several hours, or even losing quarters inside the cheap arcade machines. Or that rush where people would ooh and ah dramatic and critical scenes. The audience would cry, laugh, and experience the spine-tingling experiences for the first time together in a broader sense of community. Those experiences, which many kids like myself experienced, are now on the fringe of becoming myths and stories. During the pandemic that broke out in 2020, movie theaters and film in general shut down. Theaters, production companies, and even directors were struggling to stay afloat during this time of self-isolation. The film industry has been struggling for the past few years, and it has only been because of the attention of the public that it has managed to thrive during these times of need. Famous actors, directors, and even critics have been brainstorming ideas to find ways to prolong their industry's inevitable demise. Streaming services such as Disney Plus and Netflix have been the frontrunners for replacement for movie theaters, and at-home movies seem to be the new fad. The film industry has been having a rough start to the new decade, but the future is still bright. The future contains at-home streaming services, groundbreaking short films, and a new inclusive social dynamic for the foreseeable future. In several published documents, authors have given their opinion on how people of all nationalities and genders express their stories on the big canvas. In an article written by Nicholas Rappold, he writes about how the inclusion of women from all across the globe and how they implement ideas for many other young women. Rappold explains, quote, "In all of these films, these sustained moments, committed entirely to each woman, foster a kind of direct address that seems to dissolve the screen. What results is an act of trust, reflection, and courage all at once." End quote. This, among many other things, is one of the many outlets that women are given with their role in modern film. It is essential that they have the opportunity to empower other young women and set a precedent that they too will thrive and be successful in this modern day and age. With lots of social influencers and other people trying to give them advice, it is hard to find a role model to look up to. Movies bring out the best in actors and actresses, and young men and women can look up to a character that portrays positive and empowering characteristics. Ever since the pandemic, there has been a massive increase in streaming service sales, as well as the popular demand for at-home movies. The fear of safety, as well as the ease of access, are the two biggest desires of many movie lovers. Services such as Netflix or Disney Plus have been implementing specific live showings for certain movies or exclusive shows or movies for their subscribers, which many people deem this to be as good as in-person theater movies. An article from the Los Angeles Times claims, quote, "The box office drought has put major pressure on some of the biggest cinema chains. This latest lull was brought on by a combination of factors, including COVID-19-driven production delays, a bottleneck at visual effect firms, and a windowing of the industry as more films go to streaming services instead of theaters." End quote. While yes, major movie industries and producers will release their films onto the big screens, the end result for these movies will be for the pleasure of those who are watching from home. All right, I'm interviewing Miles Figueroa. Miles, how do you think the movies are going to end up? Are they going to be a streaming service focused, or are they going to be in theaters still?
Streaming focused.
Why?
Because it's easier and it's easier to access for everybody. Everyone can access it.
All right, thank you very much. Young actors are struggling to make a name for themselves. The mainstream media is very harsh and not as inclusive as some might think. In various countries across the globe, there are short film festivals attended by producers and CEOs of major corporations. These are not only an amazing chance for the newer generations to show off their talents, but also to give them the opportunity to tell their stories. At the second Al Maroon Film in the Desert Festival, which is the largest film festival in Asia and Europe, thousands of individuals showed and expressed their art. This article exclaims, "This year's edition enabled the audience and film enthusiasts to delve into the nation's rich history, long-standing traditions, and contemporary vibes, and showcased nostalgic issues related to identity, and offered eloquent insights that reflect the remarkable diversity of the Arab culture." The ideal future for many is to have everything stay the way it used to, with little to no changes to how things were before the pandemic. However, that is just an unrealistic setting. Just like all things, change is inevitable. And in the past few years with COVID, people have been switching to online streaming services due to safety and ease of access. As everyone would love to have movie theaters be the main source of film entertainment, it is not feasible with the circumstances in the world. Many theater companies and CEOs feel very strongly about this opinion. AMC Theater CEO Adam Aron said, quote, "AMC ended the second quarter of 2022 with more than $1 billion of liquidity. Thanks to the significant amounts of cash raised in calendar years 2020 and 2021, Aron said. Accordingly, we remain confident about AMC's future." End quote. This perspective is greedy, and while business is business, the fact that companies are not expressing their compassion and commitment to people speaks volumes. Many who feel this way have the inclination to not try streaming services, but at some point in time, the future will outweigh the in-person movie theaters and with at-home services. If these industries prioritize money over the viewers, their longevity will be cut short significantly. Everyone has childhood dreams that seem unattainable. Whether it's a rock star, pro athlete, astronaut, or in this case, a movie star. Time after time again, we as humans constantly are quoting and referencing timeless pieces of cinema. The future has never been brighter. Young stars, unsung heroes, and even an average civilian are now given opportunities to express their thoughts and stories for the first time. Whether it's at home or in your theater, these young actors and actresses are given chances to break out of their shells and express themselves more than they ever could have imagined.